What I would like to tell you is just to have a look at what has happened in relation to manufacturing from Brussels, from the European perspective. Um, um, yes, so I will just have a look at the past, the present, and the future, quite quickly. 10 years ago, when I joined the Commission, it was 2001. So let's go back the last 10 years, like Christos suggested before. What has happened in the last 10 years? Lots of things. Lots of things. Of course, the iPod, iPad, the human genomes have been decoded, and YouTube, the stem cells, Facebook, whatever. And then, all of a sudden, there was a crisis. Here you can see the big man, the economy, and the poor President Obama in front of him. He could know how to handle this. Yes, there was a great recession. When I joined the Commission, manufacturing was not real on fashion at the political level. When I was hired because I had the opportunity to work for an American company, for an Italian SMEs, in France for a normal company. And I was there, and I was pushing, I was defending the dossier on manufacturing. But people used to tell me, no, it's dust, it's not clean, it's noisy, no, it's not high tech. Okay? So then the crisis evolved, the financial crisis, and then economic crisis, social. We are in the moment. It's true that in no way you have been protected. You have been in a lucky situation because you have not been really touched by the crisis. Now you have the problem with the oil price, but still, you know what's going on in Europe, especially Mediterranean countries. But this crisis actually helped us in defending the dossier in relation to manufacturing. And because of the crisis, we could launch a public-private partnership in the areas of manufacturing, especially the one which was just mentioned, the factories of the future one, which was just the biggest one ever program at European level to support the European manufacturing, research and innovation. And of course, other contractual PPPs. What we mean by contractual PPPs, we wanted to work with industry. There was no point just to say, when I joined the Commission, it was very top-down, to say, the Commission should support these areas. But we used to have bilateral contacts with the different industries. Renault, Peugeot, for example, Fiat, all of them saying different things, of course. Then the Commission did whatever she wanted, of course. Now, in this context of public-private partnerships, the private sector outside the Commission is organized first in the European Technology Platform, the Money Future Platform, and then in a specific association that they represent Europe. So they are a privileged interlocutor for the Commission. The Commission cannot say, no, I forget you, I don't, because they represent Europe and they are open. They represent the needs of Europe. So the Factories of the Future was launched, and why Factories of the Future and why not? But if you look at the numbers of jobs related to manufacturing, but I'm not here to defend the file. I think that you agree with me. That's important, and that's important, and we will continue to do so. When I go to the member of the European Parliament, because they ask me, okay, we give you some money. Well, what have you done with the money in the last 4 years in the, for example, the Factories of the Future? What is the impact? I have mainly two arguments to say it has an impact, what we did. Mainly in relation to the industrial participation and the SMEs. In the past, in FP7 program outside this program, the participation in FP7 of industry was around the 30%. In the PPPs, we got beyond the 50%. So whatever we do, it's in agreement with industry, together with industry. And the second argument is in relation to the SMEs. The SMEs, as you know, are the backbone of the European economy. So look at how much SMEs we could involve in our program. Where the money has been, in which pockets, in a way, country-wise. So you can see that Norway is not performing bad, not at all. It's number 14 in this list. Here we have Norway, just behind Finland, but before Sweden. What is the present? Where we are? Okay, you all know Horizon 2020. I'm here to tell you, Horizon 2020 is a big program. It's a huge program. Money is there. I'm not telling that it's easy to get the money. You need to be involved in project at a European level. But I remember that once I met in a conference someone who said to me, 3 years ago you came, you presented me Horizon 2020, and I participated in program. And then I said, oh, very good, you are involved in projects that are funded. He said to me, no, I didn't get any money from the Commission because all the time. I said, why are you happy? He said to me, at the end, after 3 years in trying to involve in European project, he had an added value. He felt an added value in participating, even though at the end he was not successful. Because it started a sort of virtuosism, a spiral which allow him to expand the market and so on. So those are the rules for Horizon 2020. Horizon 2020 seems to be more simplified. This is what the Commission always says. At the beginning of the program, we have simplified. So I don't know what is the the position from the stakeholders, but indeed there is a genuine, let's say, attempt to really simplify it. So there is one funding rate, no matter if you are an SME or a big company, 100% for research and innovation actions, and 70% for innovation action. The cats. I have just 2 slides on the cats, because actually I work in a program called Key Enabling Technologies. The cats are very much important for the Commission. By the way, there are 6, and those are the 6. 4 of the 6 are our responsibility, namely the advanced manufacturing system and biotechnology, nanotechnology, and advanced materials. And then there are 2 others, the photonics and micro nano, which are under responsibility of the ICT, because they are more under ICT. Why the cats are important? All the successful products in the last years are done with a, let's say, wise integration of those cats, of those technologies. This is a mobile cyber-physical system. It's a smartphone. It's a simple smartphone where you can see advanced material, microelectronics, advanced processing. And why not? I just put it at the bottom. Biotech. For the time being, there is no biotech in a smartphone. Who knows? In the next year, we may use non-silicon-based chips. We can use a biotech. Or in an automotive factory, instead of using those chemical substances for painting, we may have enzymes. We may have biological material to do this. So we said, okay, the PPPs are very good. We continue with the PPPs, and we launched more and more PPPs because it was good to do it together with industry. And here I think that it's time to mention 2 persons that for us were very important, because they could, with their presence, they could bring the needs of the Norwegian community during the discussion we had in Brussels. So Odd Myklebust, being the contact where he is, somewhere there, being the contact person of Money Future, and also Christian Martensen, in launching this new initiative under Money Future, which is the joining sub-platform. And that's important because for us, as I was explaining this morning to some of you, of course it's important to have a united voice, but it's important to understand what are the differences, what are between the different countries, because it's important for us to be à l'écoute, like we say in French, to understand what are, so that we can shape the program in a good way. The only reason why I'm showing this picture is just because I am in this picture together with the big bosses in the European manufacturing community. That's the only reason. This is what when we launched those PPPs some years ago. Political constraints, yes. Someone asked me this morning, but is it difficult with your experience in work in industry, in SMEs, and now to work in the Commission, inside a big administration, a public authorities? Yes, it's not easy, but when I was running my own SMEs, the last 3 years, the only thing I had to do, 80% of my time, is just talking with the banks and finding money. And this is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something else. So at the end, indeed, we have political constraints. We work for a public organization, and now those are the political constraints, the famous Juncker's agenda. But I was very happy when I saw this, because what we are doing in the PPPs in manufacturing covers at least 5 of the 10 priorities of the political priorities of the Commission. So they cannot, in a way, they will not be able to stop what we are doing. Okay, now just a few slides about the future. Few slides about the future. How do we see the future? But the future, first of all, a big statement. And the statement is that the idea that an economy could be sustainable only with services is wrong. I'm saying this now. Someone else more important than me have said it, but this is flat wrong. The transition from the technology-based, export-oriented economy towards a service-led was a big mistake. I think that there will be 2 types of economy. The economy of I want it, and this is the economy in Europe that we have at the moment. This is last week I had to buy another iPad because my kids wanted another iPad. I didn't need it, another iPad. I had to buy it. Okay, so this is I want it, the replacement economy. The old iPad was broken. So, and then there is the economy I need it, the economy of the emerging India, okay? They need the first to buy economy. Of course, this industrial strategies need to cope with 2 different economy. Innovation from one side and purchasing power from the other. There will be 30% in 2020, there will be 30% of more middle class, which are able to buy if the product is sustainable. So the sustainability is the response. And more, less poor, emerging less poor. So this is what we need to do. $100 PC or the famous $2,500 cars. This is where 2 different economies. Now, what is the answer? What is the answer? The globalization. Yes, globalization is part of the answer. I just would like to show you 5 slides with only pictures. Only picture and a couple of statements. So what could be the industrial landscape? The industrial landscape, but first of all, this is the sentence that in a way reflects what is our idea of the future in 2025. This is the sense and the political sentence that we would like to put in the different document in such a way that we can have political support. So I have, in this sentence, I have underlined some keywords, and I would like to present each of those keywords one by one. First of all, the globalized economy. There will be a globalized economy serving an informed and affluent society that will require personalized goods and services based on advanced ICT-enabled manufacturing system supplied by a resource-efficient and sustainable industry. Globalized economy, yes, the globalized economy. You all know, but also SMEs, they know very well that it's not only the supply chain, but also not only the markets that are globalized, but also the supply chain is globalized. So we need to move in this context. This is the context where we are at the moment. The society. It's not only the increase of the population, which needs to be taken into account, but the fact that the population will migrate from one place to the other more and more. The population will be aging more and more. Okay, those are challenges that we need to tackle, and the population are the customers, are more and more intelligent. They will look at the product with different eyes. There is not only the fact that the product is fulfilling their technical requirements, but also social and sustainability issues will be tackled more and more. Personalized goods, personalized service. This is the key for the future. Personalized because each production will be like one of a kind. Each product will be one of a kind. And this is more and more. I'm not necessarily referring only to additive manufacturing, but we need to think of those technologies which are capable to address those challenges. Advanced ICT-enabled manufacturing systems. Fine, this is okay. We know what it is. But after this, it was already said by Christo, it's not only technology alone which could be the success of a company. So business models we need to tackle. We need to look at what it is around this technology to make a real impact in these technologies. Materials is another issue. Materials is important. And we are working more and more together with our colleagues in the materials unit to make sure that we can support those technologies for understanding better the behavior of materials, but also to create the new materials of the future. ICT. Someone said that the data will be the oil of the new machines in the future. Yes, data, big data, ICT technology. ICT as a driver. So we need to help, and this is our responsibility as a political authorities, we need to help the penetration of ICT technology in all the factories and IPR. It was mentioned that it's important, education, skills. We do not have the right engineers. When I, 25, 30 years ago, I finished my studies as an engineer, mechanical engineer, I had no clue about chemistry or biology. And this is something that should change. And only in this way we can create a sort of European resource-efficient, sustainable industry. European sort of, if you visit a factory in Europe, then you have the feeling this is a European factory, like made in Italy. The famous made in Italy, if you have a, you don't know why, but you have the feeling. So this is something that we are trying to push in Europe, a sort of made in Europe factory. I would like to conclude now, just with a couple of slides. A couple of slides that I like very much because I'm passionate of sailing. And I also think that at least half of the people here, they know what sailing is. It's in relation to the knowledge. Of course, with what we do with our money, with the European projects, we generate knowledge. But it's important to, let's say, to ensure that this knowledge has an impact, and we need to be sure to renovate this knowledge. As someone said before, what is important is to adapt this knowledge, is to learn faster than our competitor. And this is something which is extremely, extremely important. Like those people, they need to adapt and to learn faster than their competitors. Otherwise, with the sea, the conditions of the sea, the wind are changing all the time. So those are the three key messages that are, let's say, summarizing my presentation. Invest in research and development. It's important. Festo showed 9% of research and 9% of their turnover invested in research and innovation. It's very high. That's very good. Political cultural integration. We need to think of, let's say, the integration and the social aspects of any technologies. Because at the end, the consumers are citizens. And not only consumer, but they are also citizens. And then the value-added creation. The last slide, I have it here, is a slide which is related to the approach. And the approach that we have to have our, let's say, us in the Commission, but also in industry or in the public administration. It's a matter of changing all the time, changing and managing the knowledge. It's just governing the change. I'm also, my wife, she's passionate of history, and she obliged me to read a book on the French Revolution. So I read in this book from Edouard de Bourg. It was called Reflections on the French Revolution. It's a book of 200 centuries ago. A statement which, let's say, shocked me. And the statement is, a state which has no means to change has no means to survive. And I think this is can be applied for an industry, for an SMEs, and also for a public administration. Thank you very much.